Welcome back to another episode of the Skids and Giggles podcast. I'm Pascal, and I'm joined by my co-host Bryson.
Hey Skigglers! This week's episode is brought to you by BAM Bike, bam-bike.ch. All about bikes.
Unfortunately, there is no coupon code today, but the good news is that we sat down with Domi Widmer, who has started his own company called BAM Bikes, to talk about the first couple of months with his business, talk about his riding with bikes, talk about his injuries, unfortunately, but also how he got back into riding after said injuries. And it was a fun conversation. And Bryson, what did you think?
Yeah, it's been a while since I spoke to Domi, but it's good to get back in touch with him. I always knew he was a stylish rider, very talented, but I think the listeners are in for a little treat. He's not a one-trick pony, so let's get into the meat of it.
All right, but before we get to our conversation, let's briefly do our spiel with the social and where you guys can find more information about the Skids and Giggles podcast. We are currently most active on Instagram, where you can skid right into our DMs and follow along at Skids and Giggles. And you can find our website with all the relevant links and info under the URL skidsandgiggles.com. Also, if you guys like what we're doing and want to know what's up, just give us a follow on Spotify. Hit subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to great podcasts. Finally, sharing episodes you enjoy on your socials or a heartfelt 5-star rating on your favorite platform goes a long way in helping us reach more people like you. With that out of the way, let's get to our conversation with Domi. Talk to you after the show. All right, let's do it. Welcome to the Skids and Giggles podcast. Domi Widmer, how's it going?
Hello. I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Bryson, recovered from the dead. How's it going, my friend?
I'm still rising, but it's okay. Yeah, feeling better.
Do you want to start this off? I think you had a question.
Sure do. Hey, Domi. I remember the first time we met. I was tagging along with the Biroma crew. They set up this Show Me Your Trail. And it was basically this kind of, I guess it started as a series of like getting people to kind of be like a pseudo host for an evening ride during the summer. And that host would like go basically show the crew from Biroma and like all the people who go on the evening ride this like trail that means something to them, or like, you know, their own secret trail, or like their trail that they go regularly, or it's in their backyard, whatever it was. And it was the first time I met you, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I know of him, seen his Insta, saw him on the webpage for the Biroma Team, and he looks the part when we showed up. So I wanted to know. Well, first off, set the stage. We took the highway from Zurich down south along the south end of the lake to Pfaffikon, or just above Pfaffikon. And the trail there is called Etzel, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember asking you, you know, why is this your home trail, or, you know, kind of this and that. You're like, or actually, I think it was if you lived around here, because it was kind of like show me your trail, and I just figured, okay, you must be like living on top of the hill or something. I don't know. But actually, you explained to me that you live on the other side of the lake. And now, being new to Switzerland, I didn't really have a clue. But maybe you can, now that I'm a little more familiar, maybe you can enlighten me as well as our listeners. Why did you choose the Etzel Trail? And like what was that all about? And how was your experience for hosting the Show Me Your Trail from Biroma ride?
I don't remember why I choose that trail. I think I discussed it with Beat from Biroma to not go to Bachtel, because Bachtel usually is my home trail, or the closest trail I ride a lot. But somehow we didn't go there. And because maybe a lot of the riders already know Bachtel, that's probably why I choose the Etzel trail. And yeah, Etzel is just a very cool trail. It has a good length. It's has a bit of everything in it. So I really like to ride there, and yeah, there are some like secret hidden ports as well there, and that are self-made, and I really like that. So it's not just a hiking path that you ride down, and yeah, that's why I choose that trail, I guess.
I'd say it was a pretty good choice. It was pretty hot. It was a steep one, fast one. I had trouble keeping up for sure. But the climb was really tough. It's a steep road. It's a really steep road. It's like it doesn't it's unrelentless. Let's say, yeah, yeah. So previously stated, you were with the Biroma team. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started off with that?
First, I was looking for a shop that I could write for, that I get support, and I introduced myself to Biroma first, and very short after that, Dominic Bossard, you know him.
Former guest.
He wanted to, yes, he wanted to build like a team, like a dirt jump team for young talents, and yeah, then we started that, or yeah, he started that, and with me together with Biroma, and that's how I got into this team, just from the beginning with Dominic, and yeah.
Yeah, like when you decided to start it, did you have this idea that there would be a collection of guys who to join it, and it kind of created, maybe not going to say legacy, but this sort of trickle effect where the people who joined this team kind of went on to like do a little bit more, and not just like got together and did some dirt jumps? Was it like this original idea? Did you have any idea that all of these people would, some of them become in the industry, or even just, it would grow to more than it was?
As a single rider, it's very hard to get support from sponsors, and the idea was that when we build a team, that you get easier support from companies and sponsors, and yeah, when you show up as a team, this is at an event or wherever, when you go there as a team, you have way more attention, and it's a big thing in cross country or downhill. There are always teams, but not in dirt jump or slopestyle. I don't know why. It's still not really the case that there are like big teams for slopestyle like it is in the World Cup. It's basically always just a single man sports. Like, yeah, somehow it's hard to hold this team together, and that's why probably also we split up again. uh, yeah, but it was very good to. Actually, it was super good. We had, yeah, we could. We got the clothes from TSG, and we got support from James, and without that team, we wouldn't have that as a just single rider. Would have been way harder to get into that and have attention.
And yeah, also goes without saying that the amount of riders that have come through that team and have then progressed on to different careers and different avenues. I mean, of course, I guess the biggest one would be Lucas Huppert, but there's plenty of other riders such as yourself and Chris Fischer and Domi Bossard as well, of course, and there's just a number of riders that have come through it and are still coming through it to some extent, or through that same group of people. That is, and I think that's a great network and kind of a framework how you can provide a platform for the riders, especially young ones, of course.
Yeah, yeah. I think especially for the young ones, it's very helpful because you have to you have to guide them a bit, show them what they have to do, especially with sponsors. I think that's very good for young riders, and also it motivates them once they are in a team. They're like, oh, someone noticed me, and I think that's very good.
I think another thing that brings you, because I've done a lot of like group rides and joined some cycling groups as well, and I think when you get into this sort of thing with other people, it brings you these other experiences that you wouldn't ever have the opportunity of doing by yourself. So, for example, it would take you to some competitions, and maybe you would by yourself you would never progress quickly enough to reach that competition and go to that competition and compete. But because you're on a team, first of all, you got noticed. Second of all, you guys are all pumping each other up and helping each other progress to a level that's like, okay, well, actually, hey, that team's pretty good. Like, why don't we invite them? And so, you get to go to some places or some events. But fast forward some years, are you still doing some dirt jumping, some slopestyle?
Competition-wise, not really.
Okay.
I stopped. I don't know when. Like, it was before COVID.
Have you been doing some jams or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was injured a lot the past few years, and then I just couldn't be it was hard to always get back to the level where we were, and the young ones in Switzerland were growing so quick, and they overtook me with tricks and everything, and so I wasn't very motivated to do it again, like to do a compete at the events and just get like second last or whatever.
All right, but you never stopped riding, right? Like you came back from injuries.
Never, no.
And you're multidisciplined, so we know you're quite a fast rider as well. So you've been doing racing or what?
Yeah, I still love racing. Yeah, it's a bit easier because in racing you have like different categories you can take part, and I mean in slopestyle there should be a masters category as well, I think, because that's what it's cool about racing. Once you get older or you're not licensed, you don't have a license, you can still take part as in the open category, and there you can like ride for a podium, or you don't have to compete against the very, very fast guys. I like that there are categories where you can like go for a podium, not just be in the middle somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, depends where you compete, right? So
yeah, but when you compete in slopestyle, it's always just you compete against the world's best, and that's hard.
Oh yeah, for sure. But before we go too deep into your riding career and the riding today and injuries and all that, I want to actually fast forward to today, because I think there's some exciting stuff happening this year. At the start of the year, you started your own business, Bam Bikes, and I always love it when friends of mine, they are starting their own businesses and taking the plunge, and it's a big step, right? So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Bam Bikes?
it was in my mind for a while that I want to be self-employed or start my own business, because I just never really loved what I was doing work-wise. And then last year, I kind of decided to really do that, start that, build my own business. And I had this idea with Bambike, with a mobile workshop or mobile, mobile workshop that I can go to the people, get their bikes, and maybe fix it right there. Or if not, I can take it back to the garage at home and fix it there. And then once it's fixed, bring it back. So that also is, for me, the easiest way, money-wise, to start this business, because I don't have the money to already invest in a workshop. And that idea with the bus, with the mobile workshop, was I think possible, and so far it is possible, and it works pretty good.
So far, who are your main clients? Is it just like private clients that have want their flats fixed, or is it also other bike shops that hire you in when they need more people, or what? How does it work right now?
So far, it's just private clients, like very random. There are a lot of e-bikers actually, because where I live, there are a lot of e-bikers. And I don't mind to fix e-bikes. It's still a bike. It's cool. There are people who have like a really fucked up city bike or something, and I have to fix that then. Or also like a very expensive cross-country bike. So I had it all so far already. It's mixed, which is cool.
Okay.
But I don't work together with a bike shop or something.
Oh, okay. And what kind of services do you offer? Is it like a fully fledged bike shop? You do from new bike builds to service to suspension to whatever else there is, software engineering for e-bikes, of course. What are the services that you can offer out of the bus?
Well, I started just with the standard stuff, like full bike service. Like, you just service the whole bike, no suspension service. That I don't do already. I want to do, or I have to practice first on my own stuff and go to courses. Otherwise, you're not even allowed to, for example, open a Fox fork. But I went already to this Bosch e-bike course, because I thought that's very important when I have so much e-bike clients around here, that I can fix this Bosch problems they maybe have and do updates on the motors, or just send them into a warranty service or whatever. Yeah, that's what I did so far, but I want to do more, especially suspension wise. But yeah, I have to work on that first.
But I mean, that is, I think that's an interesting niche, right? Because then you can, especially with the bus, then if you have the flexibility to drive to, let's say Bryson and I do a test weekend or whatever, and we could invite you along and hire you to do whatever quick fork service, or of course Bryson can do it himself. Of course I know that, but I'm just hypothetically. But yeah, so I mean, something like that would be cool, or just let's say a racer in the neighborhood, or or something like that. So I mean the full service spectrum. But where did you get the idea for the mobile bus? Because as you may know or may not know, I've lived abroad and I've been abroad quite a bit. And I know in the US there is the VeloFix buses. I know in London where I live there is a mobile bike shop service. But where did you get the idea? Because in Europe on the mainland, I haven't really seen mobile workshops.
Yeah, that's true. I think it just somehow popped up my mind that I could do that instead of just rent a workshop, because I was looking for some a solution to get into this without investing a lot of money. So that popped up my mind somehow. I think I wasn't influenced by other mobile workshops. Actually,
Okay.
yeah, I also don't know that there are a lot in the US or Canada.
Since it seems like you might be the only mobile workshop, it kind of opens the door to like all of these things that, I mean, we don't really know at this moment because it's like, where could a mobile workshop go? I mean, anywhere, kind of. But also, yeah, it's like there isn't already this set schedule of mobile workshops that are like going to races or showing up at test events or, you know, doing specific things. Like there isn't already a recipe. So it's kind of like now you have to clean slate, like a blank page of like what you could do with it. Have you had some crazy ideas like calling up team project and being like, yo, I'll just follow you to every European Cup and be your guy, or like I'm just gonna roll up to some random enduro event and just like open my door and see who just wants to have their bike fixed immediately. You know, it's like you can kind of just do almost anything. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah, you could do that all. That's true. Actually, when I had this idea with the mobile workshop, I was in Davos at the Dirt of Spring series, and then I saw a little flyer in at the bar, and around there is actually also a guy who does that with a mobile workshop. So like similar to me, he has his home base and a boss like me with all the tools and stuff. So I'm not the only one.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I want to go like to events and stuff and do work there. I think I prefer to grow up like uh, my, how do I say, group of people around here, that they know me here where I live, and that they come back again and again. And because if you go to like events and stuff, you're always on the road, and you do a service for them once or fix them the bike just once, and then you maybe don't see them again. And I like that I see the guys again, which I fix the bikes and do a service, because I kind of like to see if they were happy what I did and hear from them again. And yeah, otherwise it's not very personal if I just go somewhere, fix bikes, and okay, bye.
Yeah, but it could be good marketing, right? So because let's say you go
That for
to
sure.
a Swiss Enduro series in Lenzerheide, you rock up with your bus in the parking lot, put up an easy up or whatever, and do service for the racers, and maybe some of them live in your area, you don't know, right? Because you can't know.
Yeah.
I know you live a bit outside of town, but I have a feeling you don't know everyone that lives in your area or is like within the catchment area of your bus or of your service. And So, why not? And if there's nothing to do, you can go ride yourself, right? So that's the other benefit, right? So because you still like to ride your bike yourself. So, but yeah,
You could do
some
that.
marketing ideas.
I also wouldn't underestimate the word of mouth, because if you're looking for a personalized service and you really want to get to know your customers and be the best for them in that way, the word of mouth is pretty much the vehicle for that, because the people who trust what other people tell them are the kind of people I think would be, or at least I think you would want to have as clients. You know what I mean? Like there's that match there, because there's this whole like wholesome idea of like, hey, I know this guy, he's good. And on the other side, you're providing this personalized service is exactly what they're looking for, because they're the kind of people who are trusting what other people tell them. I don't know. Could be, yeah. But what's in store? What do you have planned? Like something coming up for doing something with BAM?
I think I would like to have my own workshop, not a mobile one, like a real one, in the future.
Yeah.
So that's definitely my goal, to have like a very cool small workshop.
So you're using BAM mobile solution as like a stepping stone to something more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like when I have my mobile thing, right? Like what I have now, I can't really sell bikes, for example, because you don't have a shop to promote them and whatever, and you don't have the space to store it, and it's very limited. So with a shop, I think I would have more options. So I like to go into this direction.
That's not to say that you can keep the mobile solution and have a home base. And maybe if you had a mechanic working for you as well, they could do, or you guys could split the duty. That would be cool. Or like on some occasions you can take the van out, or he could, or she could, or yeah, I mean, that'd be fun as well, actually. It's a really cool idea, this BAM bike. Where did you get the name, the idea?
I was thinking a long time for a name, for like a cool name, not just a standard name that everyone has, like Widmer Bike Shop or something like that. That's so boring. So I played around with words and letters and whatever, and then somehow BAM Bike came out. BAM stands for bamboo. And because I like pandas, they eat bamboo, and that's why BAM. So, comes all from the pandas.
Oh, panda. Yeah. I recognize this theme. Is there something else with panda going on?
Yeah, is there? I don't know. Is there maybe is it a bike park with a panda?
Yeah, there's a bike park.
Is there a bike park?
That could be.
What's the story with the?
Is it a mobile bike park
with the panda and the bike park? Is it mobile too?
No, the bike park is mobile. That would be cool.
There we go. Get a trailer.
Yeah. The thing with the bike park and the pandas was, even before I came into this group of friends from the bike park. So they started this panda thing a bit before, when they had their secret jumps in the woods, and they somehow had this idea about protecting it with bamboo around, so no one can see the jumps and stuff. And yeah, that was like the bamboo thing, and then they were like, yeah, but then we need a panda. They rode dirt jumps like for a few years longer than me already, and I came into, like, I went to the opening from the Bikepark Rüti, I think, with Dominic Bossart. And I started a little bit riding dirt jumps or just jumps with Dominic. And he knew, I don't know, some of these guys there in Rüti. And I went there with him to the opening. And yeah, from the beginning on, I just loved it. I was very bad at the beginning riding these jumps. So I had to learn like riding a bike basically new again. I thought, yeah, I can ride a bike. I can do these jumps. And then I tried these jumps and I failed hard at the beginning. But so I wanted to do better, and yeah, I never stopped trying, and I always went again there, and the guys there were super nice, and yeah, they became friends to me, and that's how it is still this group of friends in the bike park, the Panda Park.
For those out there who aren't so in tune with dirt jumping, what is it about those jumps that set them apart from something you'll find like maybe near a pump track where you have like a set of jumps on the side? What is it that you couldn't accomplish? Like why did they seem so challenging?
I think it's because you have to ride very precise. You can't just try and yeah, it will work. It's also because the takeoffs are very steep, the landings are steep, and just the whole technique has to be on point. Otherwise, you don't make it. You got a hang up, or you land in flat. You got nose heavy, whatever. I think that's what everyone struggles at the beginning trying to ride dirt jumps, because a lot of people can do all the jumps in a bike park like Lenzerheide, wherever. But then when they try dirt jumps, especially with a hardtail, yeah, it's something different.
And so what's the park like?
We have now one main big line, two big jumps for Switzerland. And the step up, and then a little step down, and the line back to the starting tower. So that's the main line. Then we also have a dirt-to-dirt medium trail line that also goes forward and back again to the starting tower. And then we have a little table line for the kids that we are still trying to make better.
I don't know. Is it now open to the public? Is it like you own the land, you're allowed to have it, or is it still kind of
with bamboo around?
Just with bamboo around, hidden in the forest.
No, it's basically it's public, but it's only open when someone of the shape crew is there. So we open and close the park. It's like as in Zurich Jump Park. So yeah, it's better when always someone of the shape crew is there, because then you can show the not that experienced rider what they have to do to maintain the jumps, and or show them how to ride and give them tips. And yeah, otherwise they would maybe just try and crash and or destroy the jumps. That happened all before when we didn't close it. So that's why it's basically open, but only when someone of the shape crew is there.
Let's talk a little bit more about your own riding, right? So I've run into you at dirt jump contests where I was watching, obviously not riding myself. I ran into you at the infamous King of Uetliberg downhill enduro, whatever race it was, and you stole third place from me. And I saw clips of you riding DH races. I heard earlier that you've started with cross country, so you're clearly a multidiscipline rider. So what's your favorite today? How does it look like today?
I can't pick one, so still the overall, I would miss the variety if I just would do like downhill or just do dirt jump. So I really need like a bit of all of them, like enduro, dirt jump, downhill. So it's the mixture.
You've mentioned you started with cross country. How did you get into riding cross country? I mean, I guess in the '90s that was the thing to do. I mean, that was when the Olympics started. Thomas Frischknecht was like this superstar, and then Nino came along, and all these guys. Was that how that brought you to the bikes, or what got you into bikes in the first place?
In the first place, I think it was my way to go to school. I always went to school with the bike because I still live on top of the mountain, so I had to go to school with the bike. And then somehow I went to this bicycle club in Wetzikon. They offered the kids training, and of course it was cross country. That's how when I really started mountain biking in this club, and I started doing races, and got me from there on. So still doing it. I raced cross country for 7 years, I think, and then I was like had some health problems. Wasn't feeling well. Maybe I was a bit burnout because of the apprenticeship and the races and school and everything. And so I stopped racing and still went biking just with friends. A lot with Dominik Bossert again. He was always involved. That's how I got into more the free ride thing, the jumping thing, and I never went back to cross country from there on when I once had this free ride bike.
That's funny. I mean, it's your cross country is just it always comes back. So every once in a while, I feel like I need to really torture myself to a cross country race or a cross country marathon or something like that, and every once in a while I like it. It's just it's a type 2 fun, a bit of a challenge. You need to just adapt the challenge a little bit. I mean, it's clearly you're not riding at the front of the race anymore. You're just going at your own speed and try not to be stupid. But yeah, it can still be fun. But you found you found obviously some other disciplines. But I think you've already mentioned you've had some health problems or injuries that you mentioned earlier already, and that's something I want to talk about a little bit. Is your challenges with injuries and actually coming back from injuries, and how you've gone about that. So why don't you talk us a little bit about unfortunately some of the injuries that you've had, but I'm interested in how you came back from them.
So my very first injury was also the worst one. It was back then when I was still riding cross country. I had a very silly crash, just went OTB, landed on the head and broke my neck, broke the second vertebra in my neck. And that was the worst I've had. I had to have surgery and got 3 stiff vertebrae now, and I was very close to not walk again back then. But I was super lucky. Can still feel it. Like I got a stiff neck pretty quick, but other than that, it's okay. And after that, I had a few more injuries and broke my back again. A few vertebrae, no surgery, but still was very bad. And it was just always sometimes a bigger setback, sometimes not so much, but every injury is like, you're in the moment you got injured, you always think, why am I doing this? And I think I stop now, and it's not worth it. And so much pain, but then after a few days, usually the motivation comes back, and you don't even think about it too much, and you just want to go biking again. And that's what always motivated me to come back to do what I love. But yeah, I think still every injury, something is, yeah, there's always something that not goes away, you know. I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, I come back stronger and blah blah blah, but I'm not sure if that's true, because at some point you're like, oh fuck, not again. And yeah, then you just don't do some stuff anymore, and or don't take that much of a risk again. That's also why I stopped competing in slopestyle events, I think. But yeah, unfortunately, it's part of the game, and I had a lot of injuries. Some people don't have much injuries, but yeah, that's, you can't choose.
But apart from not taking the risk, are you also doing other things to deal with the injury or prevent injury? So we've talked with Chris Fisher about this quite a bit, because he spends a lot of time in the gym, for example, and with stretching and stuff like that. I know other riders do quite a bit of yoga and mobility exercises that help them either with injuries or preventing injuries. So is there anything you do in that regard to help you?
Yeah, definitely. I also spend a lot of time in the gym. I got a gym at home, so I can go there whenever I want. And yeah, I think without that, wouldn't be possible to ride like I ride, like I still ride. So that is very important. And especially when you are injured, you have to kick your ass, go to the gym twice as much, go on the road bike, and just stay active and do your stretching and never stop. That's what I learned. Usually after an injury, I somewhen stopped with the gym stuff again, and but now I actually do it all the year long, so I never take a break from it. I think that helps to maybe prevent injuries a bit, at least. Yeah, and it's not that hard to go into the gym and recovery mode again when you never stop.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's something I noted for myself is the difference between, so let's say 10, 15, 20 years ago, I was riding a lot more on the road. So when I was living in London, for example, I was exclusively riding on the road and did no weight training whatsoever. And then I came back here to Switzerland and started riding mountain bike much more again, or exclusively, basically. Much more gravity oriented, so more enduro and or uplift days and stuff like that. And there you can really tell the difference if you've been to the gym or not. And just with it's crashing, but also form on the bike and holding onto your handlebars and all that sort of stuff. So it can, and you don't need to do a lot. You don't need to lift heavy or crazy exercises and mobility stuff, but just like the basic things like a push and a pull and the whatever kind of exercise, and then that's it. So, but just the consistency is, I guess, what wins the race here.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
to bring it back on a more positive note. So today, what gets you really excited about riding? What gets you going?
I think it's just so fun. It's just the best feeling ever when you can ride a trail, when you can do jumps, and you're out in the nature, and you don't think of everything else than just what you do now. That keeps me going, and I want to do it all the time as much as possible, and it's just gives me so much back, like nothing else. That's why I do it.
If we could hold a gun to your head today and tell you could only ride one type of bike, let's say, not one specific bike. So, trail, enduro, DH, BMX, dirt jump, whatever you want to call it, which one would you pick?
I would definitely pick the enduro bike because it's definitely the most versatile bike you can get. You can do everything with it. So yeah, enduro.
Okay.
And where that enduro bike that you just picked, where are you going to bring it this summer? I mean, we're as we record this, that's the beginning of April. We just had the last bit of snow, hopefully, fingers crossed, last weekend. So it's starting to dry out. It's starting to become green outside. Things are looking good. Lifts are open soon. What are you looking forward to?
So if it goes to plan and everything went well, I plan a trip to the UK, ride bikes there. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And everything else, just biking around here, ride a lot at the bike park, do some races, and.
All right, you mentioned races. What is still on your menu for this year? Are we going to see you at the Swiss Enduro Series? Bryson and I, we signed up to the hardtail category for the Swiss Championship.
Oh yeah, sick. That's sick. I compete also at the Swiss Enduro Series.
Are you going to join us?
No, I'm not on a hardtail.
Their trippers count.
Oh, true. I'm not sure. I stay on the full sus.
I guess that's with all the injuries, he can't deal with hardtails anymore.
Yeah, I'm getting old and my back is, yeah.
You got to be careful.
Yeah, I wanted to say that actually my plan was to race the Masters downhill category races, a few of them, and also the Swiss Champs, and I wanted to go for the Swiss Champs title because I was on a good run last year and then crashed out in the almost lost corner. And then I read the news lately that they changed the age of the Masters category up to 35. Why ever? I don't know. And now that won't happen this year. I have to wait for another 3 years. So I don't know now what to race in downhill.
Okay. Well, I had a different problem, right? So because I was in the EWS, the Masters category was until last year it was from 40. So in 2020, it was like my 40th birthday. So that was like my debut in the Masters category in Zermatt, and this infamous race in the snow, and I managed to finish 7th in the Masters category there. So I was very happy with that. But last year they changed it to 35, which I guess is the Masters age across the different categories for the UCI regulated races. So all Masters categories in UCI sanctioned races are from 35. That's why.
That's why. Okay. All right.
So yeah, now I'm having to race these young whippersnappers. 35 and 42. That's just not fair. I guess we're getting towards the end of our time tonight. We want to close out our show with our infamous closeout questions. Maybe start with the first one. Simple, nice and easy. Just tell us about that first bike that got you really stoked on riding.
That was my first cross-country hardtail that I got when I was 12 or something. It was a GT. I don't know which model exactly, but it had a Judy TT fork with Shimano Diore components, V-brakes, no disc brakes. Yeah, that was sick. That was sick. Didn't hold too long, but
it's just a GT. It's a special brand. I don't know. It's the it's that time in the 90s where they had this this iconic athletes on their bikes and this iconic design, and then obviously on the downhill side as well as on the cross country side. I think there's just something special about GT bikes from that era.
Maybe, yeah.
Second one, imagine yourself as Harry Schidini and you are a bike magician extraordinaire. You can make riding a bike more awesome for anyone by the stroke of a magic dropper post. What would you do?
Like, it's more mechanical wise. I would make. I would like to have bikes with more equal standards overall, like not that jungle of different. Why are you shaking your head?
What are you talking about standards? You're not a mountain biker if you want standards. What's up with that?
I don't know.
What is it that you don't like about changing standards?
I mean, when you have a bike like for that is 5 years old or 10 years old, and you're looking for parts for that, just can't almost find it anymore, and then there are like 5, 6, 7 new standards in between, and it's just so hard to find always the right bottom bracket, for example. It's what I don't like. Maybe it's a bit of a Swiss thing. I like it more specific.
It can be overwhelming. I've gone through the same thing, for sure. Yeah, there's a plethora. But also, if you look on the flip side, it's almost like unlimited possibilities. I mean, if you can find the parts. If you can find the matching, It's kind of like, wow, there's just so many different varieties of things. I'm not trying to say it's good or bad, but there's a silver lining, and you can find it. But if the silver lining was actually a super mega awesome epic skid, because we are the Skigglers here, maybe you could tell us what your most awesome epic skid would look like.
I think it has to be like a pile, like a wobble. You come over that, you scrub your bike over that mogul, and your front and rear wheel starts to skid, and you have to slow down because further there is a corner, and you're still sideways. You brake front and rear, you skid, and then you roost into the berm, dust explosion, and you ride on.
And take. So as you're scrubbing over this mogul, you have to flip like Scandi the other way in order to hit the berm, or you're continuing your slide out.
I didn't think about that. Maybe there are two options you can choose.
Because one's like the fast way.
There's a left berm and there's a right berm.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so you can still choose one while you're skidding.
You're like freestyling a dual slalom course.
Yes.
I get it. Okay, let's all go to Monterey. Perfect. Yeah, I like that one a lot. I really could visualize that.
Well, Domi, thanks for your time. That was really, really cool. We had a good laugh. If our listeners want to find out more about you and BAM Bikes, where can they find you?
So they can find me on social media, of course. Instagram, it's at bambike_. Yeah, that's bambike. And me is at domi.widmer. Also, I got a webpage for Bambike. It's www.bam-bike.ch. That's how you can find me.
Sweet. We'll put that up in the show notes so people can find it. And if you can't find anything we talked about, then just hit us up in our comments and the messages or wherever, and we'll get back to you. Domi, thanks again. That was really fun.
Thank you.
Bryson, awesome as always. And we'll hopefully see you soon out on the trails.
Yes, for sure.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening. We really hope you enjoyed this episode. As we mentioned at the top of the show, you can find all the links and the relevant info to this episode in the show notes. Also, if you enjoyed this episode, why don't you share it with your riding buddies? It really helps us grow our show and reach more cool people like you.
That's great advice, Pascal. I really enjoyed making the episode as well. And I'm really looking forward to all the cool stuff we're going to be doing in 2022. So stay tuned, guys.